Folks, either good day, yes, good afternoon, or good evening. I'm gonna do a video. It all comes about one of the viewers. He mentioned something, and it's in my vehicle career. Nah, not the vehicle career, but it's just one of the early vehicles that I owned. It's a 1964 Ford Falcon. It was, hang on, I got a note here. It was called Sprint then. It came with a 260 in it. These were, they didn't have much of a radiator, those cars, and they heated up. If you, well, I was young then, eh? I was 17, I think. 17 years old, yeah. I was young and, well, it was a used car to start with. I kind of give it a lot of beans, eh? So, yeah. So it came to mind, this guy, he's Urban Kiwi. I can't read the rest of the name. But it was a video, a few videos back there, and he mentioned he had a 1982 Ford Falcon, and he got it. He fixed it all up. Was one of his first cars, and he got it stolen, and that was a real bad deal for him. But just bring back to mind me. This wasn't my first car, but it was. See, in my younger days, the only reason why you worked was to buy a car and fix it up and race it or do whatever you want. So I wasn't racing then. It was just you know, build up your car so you had the fast car on the block, eh? So this Ford Falcon, I don't remember. I popped the head gasket, or it heated up, and after that there was never no end to this motor, like, running good, eh? I was always blowing antifreeze or water, because most of the time we were running water in our radiators, eh? In those days we didn't know that we had to keep them under pressure. We just kept running with the rad cap off. And anyways, we're gonna shorten this story up because this could be a very long story. Yeah, Ford Falcon. But I ended up, one of my buddies had an old, it was a 1959 Thunderbird, and 1959, and it had a 390 in it. So I forget how much I paid, but maybe 150 bucks. I bought this engine out for him. So I went about try and put this engine in the Ford Falcon, eh? Wasn't an easy task, and I had I needed all the room in there, inside where the fenders were, eh? So all these the suspension, the front suspension was in the way, eh? So I got a straight axle from one of the older cars, and I put a straight axle with 2 leaf springs in front. That gave me all the room, eh? So I mounted the 390 in there, eh? And I had the Ford, no, they were both Ford, but the Thunderbird, I had the transmission from the Thunderbird, but I adapted the drivetrain after that. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. I mounted the motor and the transmission in the Falcon, but I made it mounts for this, welded on the frames. And in those days, yeah, I wasn't, well, we were enterprising, but we weren't didn't have much money, eh? So what I had for a welder, I had 2 alternators, eh? I was running the 2 alternators on I think it was a 3 horsepower electric motor, but it was that size. How big it was. It was brush motor, eh? And I forget where I got it, but 3 horsepower, and I had 2 belts, eh? And I was running these. These were, I think, they were 100 amp 100 amp or 90 amp alternators, and 2 batteries, eh? But anyways, and this was my welder. I had a big variac, eh, and I'd adjust the amperage that I needed. Very crude, eh? But I made some motor mounts for within. I had to do a lot of work to fit that engine in there in the space, but all the steering, all the suspension parts all went, and I fixed that up afterwards. It took almost 6 months to fix this car. And anyways, in the spring, about like these time of the year here, it's time to take the car out, eh? So this had a bench seat, eh, inside. It's all black, black outside, black interior, bench sheet, and I had the sun tack, eh, like everybody had in those days, the sun tack on the dash, and the headers, had headers on it, eh, make a lot of noise. What did I have? Oh, that's 3 gauges there, eh? Amp meter, oil pressure, and the temperature. Yeah, I had that. And what else did I have? Stick shift, or stick, eh? Everybody had those. Posi rear end. But we used to make our own. This is not good, eh? Like, I know better now, eh? But in the day, that's all we had, eh? We'd take the rear end, we'd take it and take the lube all out of the rear end, and we'd weld the spider gear, eh? And put it back in there and run it. It'd be a lock rear end, but it was no good for turning. Yeah. The straight axle came out of I don't know. I don't quite remember. It was an older car. There used to be a lot of straight axles then, and now you don't see it. We had the Krager rims on that. Remember the old Kragers there? Everybody had those. Had the wide tires in the back and the skinny ones in front, but we had the same, like, 4 rims. That's the only reason we were working, eh? To buy all this stuff for the car. Anyways, with the Train 90, the whole idea behind this is behind this story here, eh? It's my first outing with this. I was living at home, eh? And I drove. I didn't even have a plate for the car. I think this was an old plate that I had from a car previous. This wasn't even licensed for the road, but I had to try it. And I got that car on the road, and it wasn't a block, and it was right on. See, we lived on a gravel road, and as soon as I got on the asphalt, I started spinning the tires. I went up a whole block. All you had was smoke, eh? And the whole interior of the car was filled with smoke, and it was billowing out of the windows, eh? Anyways, the police stopped me. Well, I got a fine, but he never noticed that the plate I had didn't match. Even the ownerships didn't match the car I had, eh? He gave me a fine for excessive smoke. I don't know if that exists anymore, eh? I found it real, but it was excessive speed and excessive smoke was this more or less the same category then, but it was written right on the fine, excessive smoke, because I guess it smoked too much, eh? They're coming out of the boat windows of the car and underneath. But anyways, that's my story for today. It was, I still laugh when I think of that, eh? But, man, we used to spend money on cars, eh? And I wonder why now. But this guy there from, I guess he must be from New Zealand, Urban Kiwi. Well, it's not the only thing. Kiwi. But he'll know. Whoever this is, there, you had a '82 Ford Falcon that you fixed up, and you got it stolen. That's not a happy story. My story is happy. I don't even know what I did with that car, come to think of it. But there's other cars after that, but that's other stories. Okay. So, I hope you enjoyed this piecemeal adventure of mine. It just, see, that's when you're getting old, eh? That's one of the happy moments in life is when you just sit down and you think back of the things you did when you were young. Hey, I salute you all. And don't forget, folks, there's better ones coming. We'll see you in the next one.